Hello everyone, this is Super Even Master, and welcome to the Can-Am Duels Book 1 and 2 race review, where we recap what went on before the race, during the race, and looking ahead to the following race. And as you can probably tell, I changed the theme song once again. It's a much better song, and you might recognize it. If you want to look up the song, it's Thunder NASCAR theme. By David Robidokes, or however that's pronounced. So you can look that up. And I apologize for not having this uploaded. Like, I wanted to have this uploaded Thursday night, but I just got really busy. But now is the time for me to do it, and I'll probably not have an article about my thoughts on the Can-Am Duels because it is so late, and as I'm recording this, tomorrow is the Daytona 500. So I'll only be able to do the video. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But do expect more updates in the future. So where do I just begin? The overall thoughts on the race. There wasn't much to them. They were both of them just. I just didn't really get very much of it or anything at all, especially from the second duel. But as far as who won the race, not really a surprise in my opinion. But at the same time, the Can-Am Duels aren't always good. Aren't always the best indicators on who's going to be good in the Daytona 500. For a couple of reasons. One, they're at night, and that was changed in 2014. Whereas the 500 is during the daytime, so they'll likely have their daytime set of car for a night race. And also they're racing in a qualified race at a restricted weight track for a restricted weight race, so your starting position doesn't matter that much. But now let's just get into more in detail, starting with the pre-race notes. So because the Can-Am Duels happened, 4 days? There were 4 days between the Sprint Unlimited and Can-Am Duels. There's not really a whole lot to talk about, but there are indeed some notable things. First of all, Chase Elliott scores his first pole in his rookie season. That gets starts on the outside pole, and this is once again NASCAR got the best possible outcome for pole center of NASCAR's Super Bowl, pretty much. And it once again sparked up the conspiracy theorist on is NASCAR rigging the polls, because Elliott is the third rookie out of the last 4 races to win the pole. And if we look back at this year and the past 3 years, we have Danica Patrick winning her first and so far only pole, became the first female to do that in her second Daytona 500 attempt. We had Austin Dillon winning the pole in the first race since February 18, 2001 with a 3-car. And then we had Jeff Gordon in his final full season winning the pole. And now we have Chase Elliott, Xfinity Series champion, one of, if not the favorite, to win Rookie of the Year, and his first race in the 24, and he gets the pole again. Until there is proof that NASCAR is rigging polls, then I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon yet. But they all are good storylines, all happening in a short period of time. So it makes sense it makes sense to me on why there is conspiracy theorist. Another thing I also would like to say, and this is an opinion, the group qualifying the qualifying format for the restricted races that was modified after last year's Daytona 500 group qualifying fiasco. It's not a bad one, but to me, I just don't like. I just think it's just kind of weird to have to have only one car at a time and then have another round. I kind of think that, if we're gonna have like one car at a time, you might as well just do it all at once. I think personally, I think it saves time. And personally, in my ideal NASCAR, group qualifying wouldn't really even exist, because group qualifying is not even the show. The race is the show. But personally, so if I could make a change to qualifying, it would be go back to single car qualifying in just one round. for your circuit tracks. That's my proposed change. Also coming out of the Daytona 500 qualifying, Ryan Blaney and Matt DiBettio, two teams without a charter, raced their way into the Daytona 500. And then we're going to move on to practice sessions. Dale Earnhardt Jr. tops opening practice, which happened actually last week on Saturday morning. Logano led the second practice later that Saturday, and then skip all the way to Wednesday. Michael McDowell was the fastest and was his opening practice, and then but really more noticeable than that was that we had a multi-car wreck when Ty Dillon, I think, leaked oil, and then many of the drivers behind him got in that oil. Ryan Newman, Michael Waltrip went for a spin. Michael Waltrip went to a backup car. Newman did the best to repair it. And so they didn't go to a backup car. Larson went to a backup car. Gillen got damaged. Landon Kessler got damaged. Did anyone else get damaged? Sorensen also got damaged along with Josh Wise. And then Jimmy Johnson led the final practice, and I think there was actually another record in this practice, but I might be wrong. But anyway, that's all the pre-race information that I picked up. Let's start with the low points, and the big elephant in the room is the poor quality of the racing, and it was especially noticeable in the second duel. So both duels are 60 laps, so combined we had 120 laps, and there were only, as far as memory serves, there were only 3 on-track passes for the lead. 3. That means 3 laps out of 120 laps, which is just 2.5% of the race. That is definitely not a good sign for the Daytona 500. But let's take in some points that I think are worth mentioning. First of all, it's a qualifying race for a super scooter race, so there's not much of an incentive to race hard because it does not matter where you start at tracks like Daytona and how you can make your way up to the front, into the back in a short period of time. Also, and this is something that someone else brought up on a forum that I like to watch my races with. The person brought up the new charge system and how it's possibly diminished the quality of the racing. And basically, the person went on to saying that because in previous years, compared to previous years, more teams were locked into the 500, that it made less drivers really have the need to race hard, because in previous years we had, even some well-known names that could be in jeopardy of not making the biggest race. So I think that compared to previous years, the incentive to race hard was definitely less. And we also have to take into account that a much more shorter entry list than compared to previous years as well. So there really wasn't a whole lot of drivers that were even racing to win, or at least they didn't have the car or talent to really get up there and make it a more interesting race. I hope that what we saw in the duels is not what we see in the 500, but certainly after watching both duel races, it certainly doesn't give me much high hopes. The first duel was better than the second duel because in the first duel, while there were only 2 on-track passes for the lead in that race, one when Dale Earnhardt Jr. passed Chase Elliott after lap 1 or 2, and one late in the race when Dale Earnhardt Jr. passed Denny Hamlin in the final 5 to 10 laps. There was some good action behind him in the middle of the pack, and having green flag pit stops, and then the caution for Colwood spinning, it made the rest of the race just more interesting, and it was pretty amazing to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. Restart, I think second or fourth, fall back a little bit, and then charge his way back into the front lane in the race. That was certainly, I think, probably the best part of duel number 1. But then in the second duel was just awful. The 3 Joe Gibbs teammates, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, and Carl Edwards, controlled the flow pretty much controlled the flow of the race. And then then there were green flag pit stops, and I'm trying to remember, were there any cautions in that race? There may not have been any cautions at all until the very end, where a couple things happened. First, Johnson and Kenseth lost their positions, and that moved Casey Mears, Jamie McMurray to the front. Then Casey Mears ran out of fuel, which I hated that, because he was second at the time, and who knows if he was good on fuel, who knows, maybe him and McMurray could have teamed together, and maybe it could have passed Kyle Busch. Who knows? But anyway, so then here we go on the final lap. We have Kyle Busch leading, McMurray second, Johnson third. McMurray's trying to. McMurray went low, Johnson went high. Just a whole bunch of crisscrossing, and when Johnson went high, McMurray did that at the last second. Got Johnson's car loose down into Kurt Busch, then hard into the outside wall, collecting Allmendinger, Truex, Kenseth. Danica Patrick then spun, getting in the oil of the crash, but she didn't get any major damage. And that caution ended the race. And now we head into the 500 with 3 of the 4 Speedweek Cup races. No way, it's two of the 3 Speedweek Cup races ending under caution. The overtime line that was made just before the sprint unlimited, a couple days before it, has not made a difference at all, even though I'm strangely seeing a lot of people criticize it on social media. Some people must really just not like races ending under caution in general, is my best guess. But overall, the second duel just wasn't anywhere near what you would call one heck of a race. And like I said, I hope these aren't signs of what the 500 is going to be. There were a few high points that I would like to take away from this, and then we're going to jump into the conclusion. Well, first of all, Michael McDowell racing his way into the Daytona 500. He was, well, and this is more of a personal one for me. I picked him to make it into the first duel, and so I was watching him closely, and he did a nice job staying out of trouble, and I think he could be I think there is a decent chance he could be like a dark horse. His 2 career top 10 finishes have both come at Daytona. One of those in the 2013 Daytona 500, I believe. And also looking at some of the I guess you can say underdogs or even surprises. In the first duel, we had Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Chris Buescher all finishing inside the top 10 in duel number 1. And then the second duel, Ty Dillon, Matt DiBenedetto, and Michael Annett, they all got top 10 finishes in duel number 2. Granted, some of this was a product of some of the top contenders crashing, last lap crash in duel number 2, for example. But nevertheless, a good finish is still a good finish, and I think there are a few of these drivers, such as Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott and Ty Dillon, that I think are going to be worth watching in the Great American Race. Let's wrap this up. So hopefully in the Daytona 500, which as of this being put up, will be tomorrow. I hope it's a good one. Hopefully it doesn't end under caution like it did last year. So I'll have my fingers crossed on that. Who's going to be the drivers to watch out for? It's been pretty obvious based on the Can-Am Duels and the Sprint Unlimited that as drivers that I think everyone is going to try to beat are Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin. I think those two probably have the two. I think they have the 2 best cars this few weeks. But also look out for the Penske cars of Logano and Brett Keselowski, who was strong in the Sprint Unlimited. Just didn't get a good finish in the Cam Duel. Ryan Blaney, I think, is going to be like a sleeper pick in my opinion. And then also the other cars, they were very strong in duel number 2. Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, and Carl Edwards, and with the exception of Kyle Busch, Kenseth and Edwards performed very well in the Sprint Unlimited. So I think those are going to be the drivers to watch out for. I don't really know unless there's a crash that takes out the drivers that I just mentioned, if it's going to be a good chance for other drivers, but who knows? It's restricted plate racing, so really anyone has a solid chance of winning the race. My personal pick, well, if I had a fantasy league, the safe pick would be Dale Earnhardt Jr. The sleeper pick would be Ryan Blaney, and so those are gonna be the two drivers that I'm gonna have. That I think. Well, I'm picking Dale Earnhardt Jr. Pretty much based on what I've seen in 2 weeks so far, and based on last year because he brought back the same car and he named it Amelia. So I think Junior is going to be the driver to beat, and he's my pick. So that's personally my thoughts on that. And I hope you enjoyed this race. I hope you enjoyed this race review. And once again, I apologize for uploading this 2 nights later than what I wanted to. Hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy the race tomorrow, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, and hopefully later after that race, I'll be up with a race review covering the Daytona 500. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and bye.